I welcome you all. I have a few words to tell you about drugs. Drugs are bad, okay? Don't do drugs if your life situation doesn't need them from you. It is also said about alcohol. I remember I was not drinking, taking, and everything was normal, eatable. Once you start, you run some kind of clock, and you always try to balance everything, failing again and again because this shit just is the way it is. When you take something, you have to think about it as if you could double your hunger. Now you maybe do not need a lot, but imagine you will be hungry, and there will be nothing to eat. Now you maybe have possibility to buy something, but in real habit, you're going to be in situations where you would not find this what you want, or it will cost too much. I want to firstly present a few examples of what may happen to you.
1. You're going to try something, it will not be nothing famous. Let's take amphetamine for example. You call your dealer and you will get. What will you get? You don't do drugs, it is simple to trick you. We bought Flex, not mention it was Flex. Also we didn't know about what Flex is. You see, when you want to sell something you have to have it. When you don't have it, you can say so or for example make it out of tiny rest of your cut, mixing it with something you think will work or it will give you. As you're a noob exact same thing, so why to bother? We were given Flex. Flex is also amphetamine, but usually it is low quality. Every Flex is mixed with methamphetamine because you have the same result after taking 1/10 of amount. What is the difference? You probably know it. I will talk about this later.
2. You come across dealer that treats you like if you were some test subject fucking rabbit, mouse, or STH like that. The saving money one also. Usually they will throw to your stuff STH like creatine or other white powder that will make more without noticing. Dealers aren't chemists, and even if they are, money's first. Worst scenario? You're going to get half spoon of synthetic caffeine in your bag, and believe me, I would rather do 1 g of speed at once than take half a spoon of caffeine. This is example of lack in basic knowledge, but you should know that mixing substances without telling is the first pathway to hospital, where you will even not tell the truth about what you had. And believe me, it is just almost impossible to know it as a doctor if it isn't actual fame, or he will not examine your death body. There are just too many bad mixes, and they can work for one and be deadly for another. I have to say, not every counterfeit drug is a bad drug. For example, here where I live, there were these chemists that after making 1 ton of speed, they made 2 tons, just by mixing it with something else. They got twice as much money, but it was also a problem when shit is too potent. People were happy from half of power, and it was less possible for them to have trouble after another person would end up in hospital after taking too much. Look at it like if you would watch alcohol drinker. He many times can't get drunk from beer like they get drunk from vodka or whiskey. It is the same.
Also, for some honesty, I know a dealer that when he sold one portion, he haven't got another later to sell for the same client, and he was beaten for it.
It may be annoying, but there is also warning for potheads. You know, people who say, I buy only pot, it is nature, it is good only, God gave it to us, fuck these who take this awful Kamade shit. Everyone knows someone like it. Firstly, the original marijuana was about 5 to 9% made out of THC. Secondly, there are now plants that are 30% plus THC. Third, it is also like that, the dose make cure or make poison out of cure. Once a time you probably could light up a joint and nothing would happen, right? Well, wrong. You don't know your mind. You as everyone else would assume that nothing bad would happen to you after using a plant. What if you're gonna end up smoking 30% scun with synthetic cannabinoids also, or meth/crack/ many else substances they can put on weed without you noticing? Are you sure, even if your pot is natural, that it wasn't bathed with anything else? You could buy at some time 1 g of cannabinoid for about 50 money, and guess how many doses you could get from 1 g, when extra XXL strong dose was 0.0000500 g of this on 1 g of anything. By the way, it is also necessary to be sure you know math, because you cannot just weight it anyhow. You have to make special dip and make it carefully and spread evenly on every dose. I know a guy, who after he asked me how it should be made, done it differently, and next thing you know, you receive 5 pages letter you cannot even partly understand forwarded to 50 different people and institutions, like the bureau of some city's mayor. Well, if you are still interested, I can now explain to you some rather unknown facts. 1. There are not 5, 10, or 15 potent substances out there. There are now maybe about 500 or 1,000 different head slashers out there. 2. There are groups of substances we can use when categorizing drugs. They are nature or che-made. After that you have cannabinoids. THC is also tetrahydrocannabinoid, but it occurs naturally in weed. Then there are amphetamines, lots of them, alpha-amino, ketones, like amphetamines but with O-double-bounded methylmethcathinone or mephedrone, cocaine also, frogs, they have frog-alike structures in them, like MDMA also known as ecstasy, tryptamines, psychedelics like psifungi, phenylethylamines, like DOC or 2-CE, opiates, naturally occurring in plants with mostly known morphine. Opioids, synthesized from opiates chemically, usually making them stronger, benzodiazepines, psychiatric, depression, neuropsychiatric drugs, haloperidol for schizophrenia for example. SSRIs or SNRIs, like Prozac, fluoxetine, Mauis, like moclobamid, not used today, piperazines and similar, like 3,4-DMAR, simpler inhalants, like butyprene, gas or ether, dissociatives, like DXM or benzidamine, LSX, acids like LSD or LSD-25. The second one was a natural selection from the dangerous fungi. The 25 cup of selectives and it was good. LSD is today usually contaminated with little doses of sarin gas because it have one of the most difficult synthesis, LSA, in plants. We also divide ketamine, dissociative but anesthesiology, or mescaline, peyote cactus, San Pedro have rather DXM, and many others made from plants are not worth mentioning. Well, it is good when you know what you are taking. I will start from the one major fact. There are few different categories of addicts. 1. The alcohol and potheads, they usually known from when they pass soon after parties start sleeping, not contacting. 2. The ketoners, they love everything that can give them some extra miles per hour but they mostly dedicated to alpha-aminoketones, meth also. 3. The froggers, they are just like ketoners but they are bored with stimulation only, they really need to be in the mood. Usually frogs are even more potent than meth or most ketones and many of them are giving psychedelic phase also. Ketoners are not falling for them because they are too strong in some ways. For opioiders, they only want to calm down, lay and watch their walls all day long being rolled with their carpet. 5. Heroin users, they are simply terrorized by whole bunch of her stories and can take rest only with her calm, warm voice. Leave them alone, really alone. They have different memories, they hear different things, they see different world from you literally. 6. Fentanyl fanatics, run from them, they have no sense and they have so many time to think about what can be the worst possible behavior they can try to talk about, 1H with them and you will fall down with your world recognition. 6. Pill pushers, they are probably from one of the group above, or more than one, and they resign from taking drugs by taking recipe medicine of every kind curing themselves, with 12 different pills also at once. Also they also want to know how to cure their side effects after drugs with other drugs. The most destroying are, my own choice either from trying or watching. 1. Crack cocaine, 10 minutes of pleasure and slide to the hell if you stop to smoke. 2. Fentanyl, too much time being high with too little money invested, they are indestructible because they are always high, there is no time to stop. 3. Heroin. She knows how to take control over you at so many levels. 4. Oxycontin/Compat, they can fuck your head because both are the same really and it is mix of three different opioids changing one after another. You may be sick from one substance, but 3 will take you from earth after 3 years literally, Compat, or you would not be able to move after 3 packs, Oxycontin. 5. Some ketones, mephedrone, ephedrone etc., will wash your head after too many repeats. Noon can really handle the slitty off after them being used and there is a legend that is telling the story of some sorcerer of some kind that took 1 gram of them and then after having money did not invest it in another one. 6. Disco yebs that fell in love with one and only MDMA and usually girls ending up falling on their knees in public toilets doing whatever to whomever. They also like to wear robotic for them and kitchen robbed for others' clothes. 7. The Relaniers. Usually women discovering the miracles of antidepressant drugs selling their carpets and one day later calling police.